Hey YouTube, it's your girl Dr. J, and it has been a minute since I've done a video. Lots of things have happened. First being, I got into a car accident. Someone hit me in the parking lot of a store. I was traveling down the lane and they were cutting through the cars. He was going so fast, guys. He totaled my car. Thankfully, I was by myself. The kids weren't with me. My husband wasn't with me. So it was just me. But it was a pretty, significant accident. He was going extremely fast. Had my car do a 180. Like I said, the car got totaled. And I wasn't hurt bad. I was hurt, but thankfully it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So that's why I've kind of been out, because the schedule got a little messed up, because have to go to physical therapy and all that other kind of stuff, plus homeschool, plus still work and all that kind of good stuff. So been a little out of it, but back on track. We are in the middle of, or I'm in the middle of planning for next school year, actually, because we are pretty much smooth sailing with our schedule now. So we're not going to be making any major changes. The last major change I did was with their math program that we're using as our spine. So we're not going to be doing any major changes for the rest of this school year. So I've started actively planning for next school year. So you guys will get to see kind of how I do my planning and the process that we're going to be going through. I have made some changes to the schoolroom, so you guys will see changes to the schoolroom and some other things that we've added. So probably early summer is when I'll be doing my homeschool room tour, because that's when everything will be set. I did all my shopping for next year. Y'all know that's a lie. I never stop shopping, but I did my major shopping for this year, and I got a few things. Like some of the things that I got, art of problem solving, pre-algebra. I think my fourth grader, he will probably be starting into pre-algebra, definitely probably by the end of next school year. So I made sure that I got that set aside for him. And my daughter, one half of the Wonder Twins, she may, if she doesn't get into pre-algebra next year, she'll probably start at about 8. So my oldest will probably be starting pre-algebra about 9, and she's probably gonna start about 8. Her brother, I don't think the other half of the Wonder Twins will be starting pre-algebra until he's probably about 10. But I've really been trying to think about, did I want them to go from 6th grade math directly into pre-algebra, or did I want to try a 7th grade approach? I know we're going to use the art of problem solving because of the rigor, but those are some of the decisions that I'm trying to really make for next year. I know that our approach is going to be staying along the lines that we are with STEM or STEAM, or what I've come to call being in the stream, because y'all know I love acronyms. And so the acronym that I'm going to be using, the way that I'm going to be focusing our homeschooling for the year, is basically we are going to be going down the stream. And what do I mean by stream? We are going to be focusing exclusively on science, technology, reading, engineering, art, and math. So those are the areas. If something doesn't align with those areas, then it won't be done, unless it's just something that they want to do for fun, but it's not going to be a part of my planning. And one of the reasons why I do that, I made that sort of commitment, is one of the things that happens in homeschooling is that you can get overwhelmed with all of the choices that are out there. Do you want to do a classical approach? Is it going to be Charlotte Mason? Is it going to be Montessori? Are you on a college prep? What is your area of focus? And I think that sometimes it can be a little bit too overwhelming if you don't sort of make a decision and stick to it, at least, commit to it fully for that moment. And for me, my commitment is to have the kids' schooling be much more like they would get at a school that was 100% dedicated to science, and the arts. Not that I don't think that the other methods are valid and good. For instance, if a child has a classical or Veritas-based education, they're going to get a very solid education. If a child has a more traditional schooling type focus where they're going to be more aligned with kind of that online K-12 sort of approach, they're going to get a good, solid education. If people unschool, their child is going to end up with a good, solid education. So I'm not saying that our approach is going to make for a better education than my children could get if we were going to do a different approach. It's just that I think this is the approach that's going to work the best for us. We're going into our 4th year of homeschooling, and my kids are still very much committed to the sciences and technology and engineering. And so I don't think that that's going to change for us. Their passion in those areas is really growing. They're doing good with their reading. My kids are all dyslexic. All have been diagnosed as dyslexic. So we're always going to be, really looking at how we do reading, spelling, writing, those sort of things that come under that reading category. So that's just going to be with us. And because my kids are also all exceptionally to highly gifted, we're always going to have to look at our curriculum, because they go through things. They're going to go through things pretty quickly. My kids do 2 to 3 grade levels of math every year. And so, when you have kids that are going through that rate, you really have to commit to math, and how are you going to do math? And you really have to think about it kind of in a different way than people that would choose a traditional program and it would take them through 180 days or 200 days. And so for us, a math program generally takes us about a year. Math, it generally takes us about 90 to 120 days. And so, and we school year round. So it's just, that's just the decision that we made. And my husband was really on board with it. So we are really committing to science, technology, engineering, art, and math, with reading thrown in. So I'm excited to share those things with you guys. Some of the things that we got planned, I'm going to be doing a tour of. My husband's doing a maker lab for the kids, and that's a dedicated space that's going to have pretty much everything they need to just tinker, create, play with robotics, 3D printing, robot armies, like anything that you could think of. They're going to be able to do those things in their lab. We have a lower or kind of not as intense creating lab that's going to be another space that they're going to be able to do some things in and do some different creations and stuff like that. We got some really good hands-on science that we're going to be doing. We also have some things where they're going to be going into depth a little bit more in some of those science passion areas that they have. They are really into inventing and creating and kind of doing, and they are like just acting up, y'all, back here. I know y'all can hear them, but they are really thriving in those areas, which is great. So we're gonna be pushing a lot more on those sort of things. They want to get, especially the boy half of the Wonder Twins, he wants to get into programming, computer programming and coding and that sort of stuff. So we're gonna be hitting those areas. So yeah, this is gonna be really exciting. It's a little bit uncharted waters, because you tend to not find a lot of guidance on, how do I have a STEAM-based homeschool? So, and I'm actually glad of that. I'm actually happy that we don't have a set of rules out in front of us, because one of the benefits of homeschooling is that you can create something for your children that's unique. And that's, I want to do that. I don't want to have everything that's going to be, cookie cuttered out for us. It's not that we won't be using prepared things. I did a video about things like the Engineering is Elementary series that we do. That's from the Boston Museum, and we're going to be continuing with that into next year. So we are going to be using some things that are prepared for us. But a lot of other things, we're just going to be piecemealing things together that make sense for us. We will continue to use probably 3 to 4 math programs at a time. So we'll continue with Math Mammoth. My kids ask to do, especially my daughter, she asked to do EPGY in addition to Math Mammoth. We do Khan Academy still, and we do Life of Fred still. So we, hit all we hit math really hard. They will probably be finishing up with Easy Read through the summer, but if not, we'll be doing that into next year. We started sequential spelling because, since they're dyslexic, now that their reading has really gotten to where it needs to be, now we're on to spelling and writing. So, it's not that we won't be using any of the things that are traditional or standard. It's just that we're going to be doing things kind of in our own way. One of the things that I've done that we are really enjoying is that we hit our basics in the morning. So in the mornings, my kids are pretty early risers. So once they have breakfast, get dressed, we do all that stuff that just has to be done every day by my standards. That's math, reading, spelling, writing. We hit all that in the morning, and then the afternoons, that's really dedicated to kind of, what do you want to do? Do you want to do astronomy? Do you want to do physics? You want to build some robots? You want to build some bridges? You want to, work on this project? What do you want to do? So that's really kind of how we're focusing things, and I think it's really going to work for us. I'm doing a lot of writing where I'm trying to write things down so that it's very clear what our plan is, what our approach is, what our long-term goals are. And we will be doing official testing. You guys know that, those of you who've been following the channel know that I get my children achievement tested every year. That means that I have them tested professionally to see where they are grade level for reading and math, just to make sure placement is there. And also, I love a paper trail, y'all. I love to, especially because my kids work significantly above grade level in some areas. I like it so that it's not just, well, mommy says that, but there's verification from a professional. This is where we work in those particular areas. So we will be doing achievement testing. So I have those test scores in there, and really write out our plan, because this is an approach that we're definitely going to have to, once we start the commitment, we're going to have to really stick with it, because we won't be doing some areas that most homeschoolers cover. Like, we won't be doing a traditional history approach. A lot of the history that we'll be hitting is through, like, the history of technology and those sort of things. And we, won't be, spending a lot of time on the American Revolution or ancient, Egypt or the Far East or anything like that. So because we're not taking that traditional approach, I really have to make sure that I write things down very clear on how we're going to be, hitting history, geography, those sort of things. And when it comes time to for my children to sit for the SAT, ACT, those sort of things, and they'll need to be able to really talk about intelligently some of those areas that would have been hit in a traditional education. We will make sure that they're able to get those things. But for now, this is the approach that we're going to go with, and I think it's really going to work for us. The kids are excited about it. We've been kind of testing the approach out this year, and now we're really ready to fully commit to having a STEAM-based, or really stream-based, because reading is in there, but a STEAM-based homeschool. And so that's what our schooling is going to reflect real hard. Like I said, I will take you guys through my planning process so that you can see it with me, and we will go from there. So hope this helps. Do a little update. I might do another video real quick, just update you guys on some other stuff. But this is Dr. J, and I'm still around, just recovering a little bit. And I'm out. Bye-bye.